Hey, what's going on, guys? So in today's video, I'm gonna go through two trades that I took. One I took yesterday. I just never got around to making a video for this setup, and one trade that I took today. So starting off with the bias that I had coming into the day, it was clearly going to be bearish because we had a 15-minute breaker structure external and a 15-minute external protected structure. Price came into this zone and we had a market structure shift on the lower time frame. So I'm going on to the lower time frame. You can see price shifted bearish, and then after that, just as I've done in my back testing videos, what I would be doing is just taking continuations. I would be taking continuations until the weak structure gets reached, and then I would take another continuation or a few other continuations until I get stopped out, because when I do end up getting stopped out, that is probably going to indicate that price has finally switched trends. Okay, so the reason why I took this is because this was the main breaker structure on the 5-minute time frame, and we can see price came into this extreme POI, failed to break on the 5-minute time frame. Then I went down to the 1-minute time frame, and I seen we had a order flow shift. Price left behind an imbalance and a very nice POI, and all I did was I just waited for price to come into this area. And I wish I actually recorded the execution, but basically I was just sitting there waiting for a market structure shift on the 1-second time frame. So as soon as it tapped into here, I just waited for this to happen, and as soon as this shift happened, I entered. So as you can see, this right here would have been 1 second, it would have been the shift like that, and that's where I entered. And then I just targeted a 1 to 2 risk to reward. Realistically, I had my target there initially, but then because I looked at the 1-minute time frame and there was a small possibility, just a small possibility, because there was a body break on the 1-minute time frame externally, there was a small chance that price was going to react off of this. So I was like, you know what? Extreme POIs have the highest probability of playing out. So instead of just risking, maybe getting break even, why not just target the 1 to 2 risk to reward and just call it a day? And another thing, this is something that I've started doing just like recently. I will be putting my trades to break even like as soon as possible. Whenever I get that big push and like the trend switches on the lower time frame, so like seconds or 30-second to the direction of my trade, I'll be putting my setup to break even, because I found out that it's much better to mitigate the risk instead of potentially taking unnecessary losses, right? It's better to just get into these positions, make sure that you get the win, instead of this playing out and then waiting for it to give me a better push, and by the time it does that, I might end up getting stopped out. So as soon as I got this push, I put it to break even and went and hit TP. No stress, no nothing. Very simple setup, and then that's it for the setup. That was a quite simple trade. So as for today, what I took was a sell position. Now I took this because if we look at the higher time frame on AUD USD, we can clearly see that we are bearish for the time being, because price failed to break externally at the weak structure, the external weak structure. We got equal highs, meaning that the low, the tried to put in the high, is actually the weak structure, right? So if we look at the market in this sense, we can see price failed to break the high on the 4-hour time frame. On the 1-hour time frame, it did close above. So this is why I'm going to be careful, especially when we get into this zone around this area, because price could easily react off of this to go back up and target that high. Okay, because in the 1-hour time frame, 30-minute, 15-minute, we have most definitely shifted bullish for the time being. But another thing to keep in mind is that we are in a bit of a range. We can clearly see we're just like trading in this region, so this is not the most ideal trading conditions. So what I seen coming into the day, I seen that we clearly had a very nice order flow shift down, and especially when we get an external shift, and since we are in a very good area for this to happen because we just broke a main structure, that means we are looking at the head and shoulders pattern essentially. So you can see that we've got we're on this side of the market now, and this would be the bullish a price action side, and then now we are in the bearish leg. Okay, so in this whole area, until we get like an external shift, meaning like price first of all needs to come into a discounted area, and we need to get like an external market structure shift. So ideally I would want like that to be broken, or once this breaks this low, I would want that to be broken, and then I would be continuing with my longs. But as of right now, I'd be looking for sells. There's not really a need or reason for me to be taking buys right now, because there's no proper confirmation. Okay, so coming into the day, I had this external 1 minute break of structure and 1 minute external protected high. External protected high. Let me just write this as 1 minute external break. And price came to the extreme POI, and what do we see? We had a order flow shift internally. Okay, so this would have been the external structure, and then internally off the extreme POI, because the extreme POI has the highest probability of playing out, we got our internal order flow shift. Now, if this had been before 8 a.m., no, after 8 a.m., this ideally would have been the trade. I would have entered like this. But since this was not within, you know, my trading time, I had to enter late. And as you can see, I came into the day around here, and all I wanted to see was a decent reaction, giving like, you know, indicating the price is going to start going down now. So I just entered right here, put my stops above there, and I targeted this weak structure down there. It was a 1.5, so just about that much, I think. Is this right? Was it just about that much? Or I think I did the weak structure. It wasn't the greatest risk to out. So it was a very nice, simple continuation, moving lower, because as I said, we're on the right shoulder right now. So meaning that we're going to be in the bearish trend. That's why, like, for example, if you look at, you know, let's say this right here, order flow shift up, I wouldn't be taking this long, because of course we're still bearish. There's not proper confirmation that we're going to go down.